What the dog doing?
Morning class, so today we're going to be learning about preposition. So, do you guys know about preposition? Yes? Yeah, you're right. So, preposition, we use preposition. Okay, so everyone, I have already sent the material for today's class in our group classroom. So, I want you to check it right now so that you can complete it.
Now we're going to explain about the Malaysian education system. So why does the Malaysian education system require a change? Malaysia's education system requires a change to bridge the gap between traditional academic outcomes and the demands of a modern technology-driven global economy. According to the Malaysia Education Blueprint, MEB 2013 until 2025, the initial push for reform was driven by the need to improve Malaysia's standing international benchmarks like PISA and TIMSS, while ensuring equity across urban and rural divides. However, as the nation transitions toward the 2026 until 2035 National Education Plan, the focus has shifted toward addressing a persistent skills mismatch. The government recognized that schools must move away from being exam factories and instead prioritize holistic human development, digital literacy, and STEM integration to ensure graduates are future
Under
ready.
the Reformation of Education framework leading to 2036, educational changes is driven not only by academic goals but also by the need to strengthen national identity and improve social mobility among students. These reforms aim to suc- these reforms aim to ensure that every learner, regardless of backgrounds, has equal opportunities to succeed and contribute to society. One of the key initiatives includes lowering the preschool entry age and allowing students to receive early intervention and build strong foundation skills from a younger age. In addition, the reintroduction of standardized assessment helps maintain academic quality and provides a more consistent benchmark for student performance across the country. Other than that, the framework also places a strong emphasis on TVET, recognizing the importance of practical skills in today's evolving job market. Alongside this, improving English proficiency is prioritized to enhance global competitiveness, while character building programs are integrated to nurture values such as responsibility, integrity, and resilience. Ultimately, these reforms are designed to transform the education system from one that relies heavily on rote memorization into one that promotes critical thinking skill, adaptability, and value-based leadership. This shift is essential in preparing students to face future challenges and contribute meaningfully to the nation over the next decade.
Now, our Malaysian education systems also prepare students for global competition. Preparing students for global competition is a central objective of both the Malaysia Education Blueprint and the National Education Plan, as the government recognized that a nation's prosperity depends on the knowledge and competencies of its people. The MEB established a foundation for this by aiming to move Malaysia into the top third of countries in international assessments like PISA and TIMSS.
PISA and TIMSS are a large-scale international assessment that evaluates student academic performance. Instead of involving all students, only a selected sample from various schools across Malaysia students are selected. The results are then used by the Ministry of Education to measure how well our national curriculum performs compared to other countries such as Singapore, Japan, and Finland. This helps identify strengths, gaps, and the areas for improvement in our education system.
It emphasized that to compete with the world's best, young Malaysians must think critically, lead effectively, and communicate fluently with the rest of the world. Now, this led to a strong focus on bilingual proficiency, where English is treated as a vital tool for international engagement and mastering science and technology.
The Malaysian Education Blueprint places a strong emphasis on developing both knowledge and thinking skill to ensure students become well-rounded individuals. At the most basic levels, every child is expected to achieve full literacy and numeracy, as these are essential foundation for learning. However, the focus does not stop there. Students are also encouraged to master core subjects such as mathematics and science, while at the same time gaining a broad understanding of Malaysia, Asia, and the wider world through the humanities. This helps build a strong general knowledge base, enabling students to better understand different perspectives and adapt to diverse environments. In addition, the blueprint highlights the importance of developing higher order thinking skill, or HOTS, also known as KBAT. This marks a shift away from rote memorization, where students simply learn fact to pass the exam. Instead, students are expected to engage more deeply with what they learn. This includes developing disciplined thinking through logic and reasoning, critical thinking by analyzing and evaluating information, and innovative thinking by generating new ideas or solutions. The aim is for students to not only understand the content but also apply it effectively in real life situations. However, the implementation the implementation of this goal is often challenged by the strong exam-oriented culture in the education system. Although the blueprint promotes critical and innovative thinking, students are still frequently rewarded for their ability to memorize answers based on marking scheme. This creates a gap where students may perform well academically but struggle to apply their knowledge in practical contexts. Furthermore, while the blueprints aim to provide a balanced education, the heavy emphasis on STEM subjects can sometimes lead to humanities being given less attention, which may weaken students' overall general knowledge. To overcome these challenges, teaching methods need to become more engaging and relevant to student life. For instance, teachers can move beyond textbook by encouraging students to explore current issues, such as the impact of climate change on local farming. This approach helps students see the real-world application of subjects like science and geography. In addition, instead of asking the student simple recall questions such as like what happened in 1957, teacher can ask more thought-provoking questions such as how will Malaysia be different today if the independence had happened 10 years later? This type of question encourage deeper thinking. Overall, by strengthening both knowledge and thinking skill, the education system aims to produce students who are not only academic capable, but also think critically, adapt to new situations, and contribute meaningfully to society.
Leadership and bilingual. Leadership skills, which is in Malay, kemahiran memimpin, the blueprint recognizes that leadership isn't just for perfects, but it is for everyone. It focuses on four dimensions: entrepreneurship, resilience, emotional intelligence, and communication skills. The aspiration is for every student to be able to work effectively in teams and take lead when necessary. Bilingual proficiency, which is kemahiran dwi bahasa. To compete globally, every student must be operationally proficient in at least two languages. Bahasa Melayu is mastered as the national language of unity, while English is emphasized as the international language of communication and the primary language for science and technology. Now let's take an example. For leadership skills, teachers often use collaborative learning, where roles are rotated within a group. For instance, in a science project, one student is the project manager, while the other data analyst and another is the presenter, ensuring everyone practices accountability and teamwork. For bilingual proficiency, it is a developed skills through immersive activities such as speaker corners, where students must give a 2-minute impromptu speech in English on Mondays and Bahasa Melayu on Tuesdays to build the confidence in both languages. Now we're looking towards ethics and national identity. Ethics and spirituality, which is etika dan kerohanian. Education is not just about the mind, but also the heart. This aspiration ensures students have a strong moral compass. It includes developing spirituality to face life challenges, practicing high integrity, and behaving with ethics in their daily interactions. The goal is to produce citizens who are good people, not just smart people. National identity, which is identity national. Regardless of ethnicity or social background, every student should feel a deep sense of being pride as Malaysian. This involves understanding Malaysia's history, sharing common values, and showing a commitment to the country's progress. This aspiration is the social glue intended to foster national unity and a sense of belonging in a multicultural society. To instill ethics and spirituality, a teacher might use value-based dilemmas in moral or Islamic studies, asking students to debate the right thing to do if they found a wallet belonging to someone they dislike, focusing on integrity over convenience. National identity is built through cross-cultural projects, where students from different backgrounds collaborate to document the history of their respective family traditions, creating a shared classroom heritage wall that celebrates Malaysian diversity while building a common sense of pride. Guiding students' thinking. The shift from lecturer to facilitator means teacher must master Socratic questioning and HOTS, which is in Malay stands for Kebat, the critical reality. It is difficult to guide thinking when the syllabus is overloaded. Teachers are often in a race to finish the curriculums for exams. When a teacher rushed, they tend to provide the right answer to save time rather than letting a student struggle through a problem. Guiding thinking requires classroom time and smaller class sizes, both of which are currently in short supply in many Malaysian public schools.
The PPM expect teacher to be a digital corrector, moving beyond basic PowerPoint to using platforms like the Lima for personalized learning. The critical reality here is that technology is often treated as an add on rather than a transformation. Many teachers face tech fatigue, in which they are forced to use tools that don't always work with the poor school Wi Fi. Critically, adapting to technology is useless if the teacher only uses a smart board to show a digital textbook because it doesn't change how the children learn. It only changes what they look at. And the true adaptation requires a shift in pedagogy, not just hardware. However, adapting to technology has been a major success story in terms of resilience. Despite the infrastructure gaps, Malaysian teachers are now among the most digitally active in the region. The transition to the Delima platform created a massive digital library that simply didn't exist a decade ago. On the bright side, this means a student in a rural school now has access to the same high quality digital resource and MOE created content as a student in Kuala Lumpur.
When it comes to guiding students' thinking, the introduction of HOTS, high order thinking skills, nilai kebat, kemahiran berfikir aras tinggi, has permanently changed how we define smart. The bright side is that classrooms are no longer silent. You will now see students sitting in clusters, which is the PAK21 style, debating and using thinking maps, or I think, to visualize the ideas. Even if the exam pressure remains, the vocabulary of critical thinking has entered the daily lives of Malaysian children. They are being taught how to question, which is a vital skill for the future workforce. Nurturing values and character. Teachers are expected to be moral compass for students, embedding ethics and national identity into every lesson, not just in moral or in religious studies. Character building is hard to quantify in a system that measures success through KPIs and grades. Soft nurturing often gets pushed aside. Furthermore, teachers are now expected to solve social issues such as cyberbullying, mental health, and lack of disciplines that used to be the responsibility of parents. This creates a role creep where teachers are expected to be social workers and counselors without sufficient professional training.
Under the blueprint of nurturing values and a national identity, Malaysian schools have made character building a responsibility shared by teachers, students, and the community. Programs like REMOM or cross-cultural school activity create opportunities for students from diverse backgrounds to work together, forming small but meaningful pockets of unity. The shift towards holistic assessment (PBE) is a major highlight. Students are now credited not only for their academic achievement but also for their manners, teamwork, and overall character. This approach validates the importance of the heart alongside the brain, showing that values and social skills are just as critical as student development.
Becoming lifelong learners. Through professional Through professional learning communities (PLC), teachers are evaluated on how they improve their own skills and collaborate with peers.
When it comes to technology in the classroom, teachers shouldn't fight the device. Instead, they should integrate them. The PPM promotes gamification and interactive learning. using tools like quizzes and Kahoots to turn potential distraction into high engagement activities. Through blended learning, lessons are designed to be more stimulating than the distraction themselves, shifting from a put your phone away mindset to a use your phone to find the answer approach. Next, to address diverse student needs, teachers must master differentiated instruction. In a single classroom, a teacher may have a high achiever alongside a student struggling with basic literacy. By creating tiered math tasks, adjusting complexity for each learner, the teacher ensures everyone is challenged appropriately. This approach transforms the teacher's role from a mass producer of content into a learning architect who designs meaningful learning experience for every student.
For lifelong learning to be real, it must be autonomous. Teachers need freedom to choose what they need to learn, rather than being forced into a one-size-fits-all training module. Instead of using the old methods, teachers now share teaching sharing sessions, TSS, right? And lesson studies. This has created a culture of professional pride where young, tech-savvy teachers mentor older colleagues, and experienced teachers share classroom management wisdom, creating a more dynamic and supportive school environment. In an era of education overload, the teacher's role shifts to teaching digital literacy and source verification. Since students can Google any fact, the teacher must teach them on how to differentiate between reliable data and fake news. This is where high-order thinking skills, HOTS, become a survival tool. The teacher guides the students to filter the noise and focus on what is relevant, turning a data dump into actionable knowledge. Finally, to address rapid social change, teachers must be the anchor of character. As society shifts, students face new pressures like cyberbullying and mental health struggles. The teacher responds by being a mentor, using the ethics and spirituality aspirations of the PPPM to build resilience. Instead of just teaching from a book, the teacher creates a safe place. In summary, transforming Malaysia's education system through the PPPM 2013 to 2025 and Reformasi Pendidikan 2026 is. Here are my recommendations on how to overcome current challenges. Teachers should first prioritize smart planning. This means using strategies such as blended learning, including videos and the flipped classroom approach, to maximize limited classroom time. By doing so, teachers can focus more on meaningful learning rather than rushing through content. In addition, it is important to emphasize quality over quantity, especially when teaching high-order thinking skills, so that students can truly understand and apply what they learn. Secondly, teachers should engage in continuous and relevant learning. Digital
Instead of
fluency
attending
and
generic
bilingualism.
they should choose
Without this shift, our graduates will struggle to navigate a world
that suits
defined
their
by AI
specific
and
classroom
rapid
needs.
social
More
change.
importantly, teachers should apply new strategies immediately in their teaching to ensure that the learning has a practical and positive impact on students. Teachers are the heartbeat of this transformation. They have evolved from simple transmitters of fact into mentors and the digital creators who build the student characters. By nurturing the six student aspiration, teachers act as a primary architect of Malaysia's future. Their ability to adapt and guide is what turned policy into a lived reality, ensuring we produce resilient, ethical, and skilled citizens for decades to come. So that is all for our video. Goodbye. Bye.